Hello guys, I'm going to show today the configurations from Path of Exile 2 for console. I believe the default configurations from the game, some are very bad and I would highly recommend to change, especially panel mode. So this is gonna be a quick one. I'm just gonna show the configurations first if you're just looking for a reference. So now, as I'm playing on Xbox Series S, I believe the settings must be the lowest possible because the console simply can handle the game. So I always recommend, if you're playing on PlayStation, Xbox Series X or Xbox Series S, to have dynamic resolution and dynamic culling turned on. This will make that if the game has too much happening on the screen, the graphics are going to lower in order to keep your frame rate high enough. So now, for the general configuration, item filter is essential if you're playing this game on endgame. You can come here on every browser in order to pick a good item filter on NeverSync. It's very easy, and there is a lot of videos already showing this. If you guys are interested, tell me on the comments, I can show how to pick it up. The rest of the configurations are preference. Nothing here is very important. The only thing I would highly recommend is to have always enabled auto logout in order to not have your battery from the controller die and you dying with your character. So now the most important configurations. When you start to play the game, the configurations are like this. If I have to open my inventory, it takes a while, and also clutters all your screen while you're doing this. So it's very bad. This makes the gameplay much slower because if you pick something from the ground and oh, I wanna see what I picked, you have to open, look at an item, wait a time, then come out. So it's very bad. I don't know why this is the default configuration. I would highly recommend to put it panel on the left or on the right, depending on your preference. Now, when I open my inventory, it's instant. It does not clutter my screen, so I can see what's happening. I can also use this to pause the game if I'm on a danger situation. So it's much better. Also, if I wanna see the inventory on full screen, just keep holding the options button or the select button and you have the screen all to see. For example, on the passive tree, it's much better to do this than to look very small, although you can also do this on a small passive tree. So I believe this is the main configuration that you must change in order to play on console, because it's horrible to play this on full screen. It makes the gameplay much slower, and I really don't like. I don't understand why GGG put full screen as default. I believe it should be right. And for HUD, I keep it on left, but sometimes I put on central. I like to put it on left because when I open my inventory, I can see both things at the same time. So I believe this is much better than to have all the screen and not having the information available if I need, for example, to see my mana. The rest of the configurations here comes down to preference. For example, I like to see my gold counter, but this is not necessary. Everything that show advanced info, I believe is much better than to not have it. Now, the other configuration that by default comes like this, if I'm not mistaken, it's the map, the mini map. As you can see, it's horrible. I'm going to show it on a campaign map. Let me try, for example, Ogan Manor. As you can see, I can see everything that the map has. For example, the staircase, the walls, and this is not necessary. You have you want the minimap in order to show less information and more most important information for you. So I would put this on minimum and this on maximum. As you can see, now if I need to open my minimap, you can see everything while I'm playing. I believe this is much better than the default settings. So now the rest of the configurations here comes down to preference. Screen shake, I would highly recommend to disable because some builds really have screen shake. For example, Comet, it's horrible, especially if you're playing multiplayer. The items I would keep like this. Gameplay also, I prefer to show my mana above my character and show the mana in life above my information on the left. And I like to see the health from my enemies. I believe when you are playing this game for long, you would love it too. And for the chat configurations, I believe the default are okay. Sound comes down to preference. There is not much here that is very important. So, and the last configuration that I changed it is item snapping, but this is not very important. Comes down to preference. I prefer to not have an item snap. And notifications, there is nothing important here. I believe that those are already default. And the only other thing I'm going to show you now, when you start playing the game, go to the screens, press X on the Xbox or square on PlayStation, and put portal on your character. This is very important. For example, if I wanna go to the city now, just press the button. This is something that the game doesn't have already by default, and if you're new to the game, this will make your life easier. So I believe this is all the information I want to show on this video. If there is anything else you guys want to see, please feel free to leave in the comments. I believe this is the first video from my channel. I apologize for the low quality and my stuttering, and I believe that is it. So have fun, guys, with the launch of 0.5 and the free weekend, and I hope you guys have a good one.